Yay, technical difficulties. Welcome, Shocker families. Tonight, thank you for joining us for our maybe
Mhm.
fourth, third
Third.
table talk of the summer. And we are excited to have you joining us tonight. We are with our colleagues and friends from the Honors College, the Cohen's Honors College, who are going to talk to our families about everything that they need to know regarding the Cohen Honors College, the process, the difference in what the students will be engaging with curriculum, what they can expect from advising to their just programs and services in addition, all of the great things that they have in store for them as they prepare to join us here at Wichita State. And so if you've not joined us before and this is your first Shocker Family Parent Table Talk, I am Alicia Newell and I serve as the Assistant Vice President for Student Services at Wichita State. And I am a proud alum of the university. I've been at Wichita State roughly 20 years. And as a proud alum, I'm also a first generation college student. And so that means neither of my parents graduated with a 4-year university degree. And one of the things that makes me most proud of working at Wichita State is that 48% of our student population also identifies as first gen. And so I love that we're able to bring these topics to our families because Kim and I know Kim oversees orientation in our first year programs, and she'll introduce herself in a second. But one of the things is that not all of our parents and families are able to, and guests are able to join us and take off work to come to new student orientation. And so we wanted to make sure that we provide an opportunity to all of our families and supporters of our students to engage with us and ask questions with the experts where we're able to bring them directly to you to have those conversations so you can help your students navigate through this process. And so I'm going to turn it over to my friend Kim Sandlin, who then is going to introduce Mr. Myers and Miss Taylin Fox, and we'll get started with tonight's topic. Kim?
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be back with you all. And many of you are probably joining us from out of state. We are having a tremendous weather event. Has been crazy all day. So if something happens with anybody's signal, don't be alarmed. We just probably that person probably lost power or something's going on with Wi-Fi or whatnot. So bear with us if we do have any technical difficulties or maybe have a lag in time or video or sound. It'll eventually catch up. So as Alicia said, I'm Kim Sandlin. I serve as the Director of Student Success. And so I engage with our families during orientation and certainly our students as they are transitioning into Shocker life. I am an alum as well and have had the privilege of working with everyone on screen, actually, in previous roles. So Alicia and Andrew and I go way back in our admissions days, and I think we all kind of crossed overlapped a few years. And then Taylin came along and was a student of ours on our student staff and did a number of things on campus as well. And so we've all had tremendous experiences here on campus, and I'm glad I get to work with these fine folks every day. So I'll leave it at that, and I'm going to pop it over to Andrew Myers.
Hi, I'll do a quick introduction, then I want to let Taylin have some time. I am Andrew Myers, and I received my master's from Wichita State in 2007 in communication, the Elliott School. And like Kim mentioned, I did start my first ever big kid job right out of college was in undergraduate admissions back in 2003. So before there was a Marcus Welcome Center, right? So we were in Jardine Hall. And this is, I think, around my 14th, 15th total year at Wichita State. I've left and come back. And I'm going into my third year as the Director of Scholarships and Student Services in the Dorothy and Bill Cohen Honors College. Which means that any of the scholarships that we have, I steward those. scholarship competitions and those kind of things. And then also, as the director of student services, I advise all of the honors students throughout almost all 600 of them, not all at once. And then also help with our honors LLC, so our living learning community in the residence halls in Shocker Hall. So I want to turn it over to Taylor so she can introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Taylor Fox. I am the recruitment and communication specialist for the Honors College. So that means I do a lot of these fun, exciting admissions, tabling events. I get to work closely with our honors ambassadors, which is a really greatly involved and engaged group of students in our college, and do like our website, social media, and whatnot. But as Kim kind of mentioned earlier, I'm also an alumna of the college. I was involved in the Honors College as well. I completed the leadership track that really matched well with my sport management major at the time. And I enjoyed my time so much. I'm returning to do my master's degree currently. So wish me good luck. I'm eyeing a May graduation, but I'm really excited to chat with you all today.
Well, great. And so we're just going to kind of give you an overview of the Cohen Honors College and whether or not your student has applied to the Honors College or is just kind of interested or just now hearing about the Honors College. Either way, we want to make sure that we are chatting about all those things. And after today, if we our students a little bit more interested, we're going to be opening up our application again to still be admitting for fall 25 as of July 1st. And so we want to make sure that you all know that. So an overview of the Cohen Honors College. Every student that enters into the Honors College will start off what we call the University Honors Minor. That minor is 18 credit hours. 3 of those credit hours are going to be an HNRS seminar class, which some of those would count for a general education requirement, depending on what your student is bringing in already in terms of college credit. So that's an HNRS prefix, and we have classes such as People, Places, and Parks. We have Black Holes, The Fate of the Universe. We have the Dynamic Universe. We have a lot of different classes within that. And then we also have a requirement for students to take a research or a design thinking course. And that's really up to them. And research, we kind of have an idea of what that is in terms of, okay, I have a question. I want to use that question then to develop some research to get some answers and look what's already going on out there, what people are already looking into, maybe do some testing and some methods, and then you're able to present that. With the design thinking, we have a class called through the College of Innovation Design, which is a grad school only in terms of what they offer and degree-wise, but they do offer a few undergrad classes, and one of those is human-centric design thinking. And the concept is to look at how we can make things better, and that could be making things better for a nonprofit. That could be making things better for your company, making things better for if you're a teacher, for your classroom. An example would be in terms of design thinking, there was a children's hospital where they noticed, how the kids, if they had to go in that tube and get an MRI, it's not the best thing ever. And so they decided to make it look like they're going into a spaceship, right? So to calm them down a little bit, unless they're scared of space. So that might backfire. No, just kidding. But that's design thinking. So those are 6 hours, and the other 12 hours are electives, right? So you can take more classes with that HNRS prefix. There are classes on campus, such as in political science, exercise science, communication sciences and disorders, public health science, etc. They'll have an H at the end of their class, and that is a departmental honors course, right? So that would count towards electives. Or if there's a class that is not an HNRS or does not have an H at the end, and you're really excited about that class, you can ask that faculty at the beginning of the semester and say, I'm a member of the Honors College, and I'd like to turn this class in honors, if that'd be all right. And then what would that look like? And so then it's up to the faculty. What's the deeper dive, right? So that's the whole kind of concept with the Honors College, is that we talked about more meaningful work, right? You're going to take a deeper dive into things that you're more intellectually curious about, rather than us making you do this or making you do this. And then it doesn't usually turn out that great, right? So you can make up those 12 hours of just piecing together kind of a la carte. But we also have a leadership track, which is what Talon mentioned, right? So that's 12 hours where every student will take a standard class, which in that one is survey of leadership. And then we also have a long public policy track for 12 credit hours. So if someone's criminal justice or political science or ongoing pre-law, they can use those 12 hours and do the long and public policy track. We also have the Emory Linguist Honors Scholars track, which is for those students who want to do a little more in research. So say I'm wanting to go on to get my PhD, or maybe I want to go on to med school, right? And so these are all things that we want to offer to our honors students so that you can enhance your overall college experience while you're in the Cohen Honors College, right? So that's kind of curriculum. Baked within that curriculum, you have options like Bill's Trip, which is a leadership trip where every January pre-session, so the 2 weeks before classes start in the spring, students will pile into a charter bus and head out to the Grand Canyon. And while there, they are able to understand different, again, that design thinking process, but also helping out where park rangers actually get trained. So you actually stay on site, you learn from park rangers, and you get to hang out for a week out there. Another one we have is Lead for Tomorrow, where they spend 2 weeks in the summer pre-session. So that's, again, before classes start in the summertime. This year, they went to Scotland. Yeah, they just got back from Scotland. And the year before that, they went to Memphis. Before that, they went to Portland, Maine. And so they work with 3 different nonprofits while they're there. And you get to help them and then return back and reflect on what are some ways that maybe similar nonprofits that we might have in Wichita you could help out as well. So that and a whole bunch of other things in terms of applied learning. We have the university or undergraduate research and creative activities hub, which is a part of the Honors College. So any kind of undergraduate research or creative activity or design thinking, if you need help with that, we've got a hub for that in the library. That's a new initiative that we have that kind of kicked off this year. And then as Talon mentioned, we have student ambassadors. We also have student council, which helps as kind of like a counsel to our dean, who couldn't make it today because she's celebrating her mom's 80th birthday in Ireland. So we've got a little bit of rain here, a lot of bit of rain here to kind of help make that happen. So we're getting a little bit of that Ireland rain while we're here at the same time. I want to turn it over to Talon, and she can talk a little bit about some of the student activities that go on throughout the year in terms of like events and stuff that our students are doing, even within the college, and then tell you a little bit about the Honors Student Lounge.
Yeah, so one of the big events kind of kicks off our honors students experience within our college is what we call honors induction. So honors induction is the space where we formally welcome our students into the college. So we last year held it at one of our really nice auditoriums on campus. We had a faculty speaker, an alumni speaker kind of welcome, and just kind of the dean also explains, what we are all about as an academic college. So everyone gets recognized through that. And then we have a fun open house after with a lot of good cookies and just kind of celebration. So with that part, we usually try to host that during family weekend because we really want to make sure our students are able to celebrate with the people they love the most and help them got them to the spot where they are. Some other key events that we have as Honors College students is Honors Colloquium and General Assembly. So Colloquium is actually a required course, I think Andrew mentioned earlier, for our first-year students. It's really also focused on kind of building community. This year we focused a lot on building dialogue with one another. They had a guest speaker from the Nobel Peace Center come speak to them virtually because they use a lot of their curriculum to kind of build that ability in one another. But at the end of the semester, they celebrate with one another and invite upperclassmen as well, kind of in the Radican Student Center. Once again, a lot of good cookies, good nacho bar last time. So just kind of a fun way to build community and also focus on that scholarly talent as we kind of really try to focus on within the college. And then another big thing to hit on is our 24/7 student lounge. So this is a big thing that our students are really find valuable. Is within Shocker Hall, we're at the first level, but that's where we have our own college space. So we know it's really important for our students to have a space, first of all, to study and really lock in on their coursework, but also kind of build that community and hang out. So we have free printing, which is another thing that comes up a lot. Our students that are doing music often print off their music. It's really cool to kind of see that. There's just a lounge area for them to hang out and study. We have a fridge, microwave, and an honor seminar room. So that's where we have a lot of our seminar courses. But students are also able to book that out to study, use the whiteboards. One of my favorite memories from past years, we had a study group for OCHEM, and they made their own little mascot called the OCHEM Piggy. So they would draw a little piggy and update it with different formulas. So it's really just fun to see our students' brains at work and then how they communicate with one another. So I think I'll bring Andrew back up and see if we have any questions.
Hey, so I'm looking in the comments. Yes. I am curious with a student who has not applied yet to the honors program. Andrew, you said that they have an opportunity, the application will open again in July 1st. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. Is there a deadline? Do you use a rolling deadline? How do they know if they've been accepted, et cetera, et cetera?
Right. Well, what we're doing, we'll take a look at how many applications we get. And then if we can get them reviewed and admitted in time to, start some of the honor stuff in the fall, then great. And if not, we'll look at them to admit them starting for the spring semester.
Okay.
But I think, what do you think, Taylor? What would be like a good kind of, I don't know, timeline, a couple weeks?
Yeah, it's typically, I feel like for this July 1st deadline, we'll turn around in a couple weeks.
Cool.
Perfect.
And to add on there, I think we didn't cover exactly what the application process is.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we do a holistic review of the Honors College application. We don't have any strict ACT or GPA requirements. We really are looking for our students to just kind of show that they're very passionate about their education, that they understand the value of the Honors College and really want to use that to enhance their college experience. So our application is really the big key parts are the 2 essays. So we ask them first to relate to the pillars of the Honors College. Transformational and professionalism are a couple ones that always stick out in my mind. And then the second essay is much more open-ended. Students have in the past have used portfolios that they're proud of, past essays that they are able to kind of really enhance and focus it towards the Honors College and whatnot. So I just like to share that.
Yeah, and I see a couple questions in terms about there's an added cost. Yeah, so with being in the Honors College, it's a $50 fee for the fall semester, and then a $50 fee applied in the spring semester. So that goes mostly towards all that printing paper, if we're being honest, and anything else that we do within the Honors Student Lounge and that kind of thing. So all that fee goes right back into like the free coffee, the free tea, and all the stuff that we have available to students in there. And then another question was to meet with Honors Advising Director. Yeah, I'm right there. Yeah, we've been coming to the first year student orientation affair, which is usually around 2:15 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And Taylor and I will be at the table, and certainly we can schedule a time to meet. I'm usually, in the office till 5 every day, Monday through Friday. So if orientation gets over and you want to have a chat, let's have a chat. Yeah, and I also meet with students when they're first year students. I know that most of the students will go to One Stop, but there are some things that One Stop would rather me cover regarding honors, but I try not to step on anybody's toes while I'm doing that. So just kind of someone who knows enough to be dangerous about most of the majors on campus, and try to help where I can. But yeah, I love meeting with students. It's kind of sad right now because it's summer and not a lot of students around.
I think one of the questions, Andrew, that we always get from students kind of later in the game is they may have been a honor student in high school, maybe took IB courses or some concurrent enrollment courses, but they're not sure what that load will look like at Wichita State. So they're a little hesitant to sign up for their honors program. So Can you talk about, are students able to kind of test drive the honors program before they commit? And if so, what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have, like I said, those H&RS classes, and students who aren't in the Honors College can ask to enroll in one of those classes. And we limit those classes to 15 students, so it's more discussion based, you're a lot more involved. And so actually students will do better in an H&RS or honors class because it is smaller and you're a lot more engaged and they're different topics. And students will kind of get an idea of that. And so, yeah, when you're talking about IB and AP, that's a lot. Again, like I mentioned before, it's going to be more about what are you intellectually curious about? What do you want to take a deep dive into? Not what everybody's in the class, right, doing. One of the things is, so for example, how that kind of H section works, or that departmental honors, is that class will be offered the same days and times as other classes, but the H section of it will have its own CRN. So that's specific to something in Blackboard or Ultra where those students are graded on a separate, so they have a little bit more. It's the same as if students were to take a 500 or a 600 level class, right? And I apologize if my daughter's yelling at her brother, and you can hear that. They were warned many times, but it's what happens, right? So, but at any rate, so if I were teaching a graduate school class, right, but also has undergrads in it, so everyone would have this much in the syllabus, and then the grads have this much more. Well, we're talking in between there, right, would be that kind of honors work, would between the grad level work and the undergrad level work, right? So, and there was another question there too about, it was about scholarships. And so we do have merit-based scholarships for students. That's $500 for the first year and the second year. So then it's done after the second year. Okay. We also have need-based scholarships. The way we approach our need-based scholarships is we have a lump sum, right? And every year we go right back to all the things that were given from financial aid, in terms of expected family contribution, and then all the other stuff that they've added in the last few years, to make sure that we have a very, very accurate list of those students who really, really need the scholarship. Additionally, if a student wants to study abroad, or, hey, we talked about some research, maybe you want to present at a conference or something like that, or maybe we had a student who was a French horn player and they wanted to go to this summer session where they can learn from some of the best and that kind of thing, right? So we have what's called the Cohen Enhancement Scholarship, where we can help students with up to $4,000, right? So if I wanted to study abroad, right now we have students who are in Germany and in the UK and all over the place. So talking about like a plane ticket, registration fees, all those kind of things, so we can help with up to $4,000, right? If it's something that's involved in an WSU, like you enroll in WSU credit hours, then that scholarship will be applied to your financial aid account. If it were, say, a internship that's unpaid, right, it has nothing to do with credit hours, then we would do more of like, okay, well, here's your lump sum. Obviously, you still pay taxes on that, but, and then in addition to, if there's something that you would get reimbursed for. So there's multiple ways that we can disperse that Cohen Enhancement Scholarship for up to $4,000. And a lot of students do take advantage of that. I had a student who went to National Student Exchange this past semester, and he was at the University of Hawaii at Manoa all semester long, but didn't have to pay anything. So because we were able to help out. And then additional scholarships in the fall, yes. So we still have money for merit-based aid for the fall semester and spring semester. It is always my hope that a student doesn't apply to the Honors College just because of the merit, because it's not just a walk in the park, right? So we do ask students to maintain an overall 3.25 GPA, and I monitor that every semester. I don't sit there and wait to like kick someone out or something like that. The first thing that I do is I send a video. It's like, hey, you've fallen below the 3.25. How can I help? Let's set up a meeting. I want to help you be successful. I want you to be able to figure out some different ways that you can kind of approach this. Are you in the right major? Right. So a lot of times honor students will approach me because they feel like I'm a kind of a neutral ground. If they're like, well, I'm thinking about changing my major. and I'll talk you through all the options. I'm not ever going to tell you what to do, right? I'm going to tell you all these people you need to talk to. But I'm going to ask you questions, and you can ask Talon how I do that. But I usually ask these open-ended questions to get you thinking, and that kind of thing. So then do you have to take more credits in honors than any regular major? No, you don't. All the minors at Wichita State require that 3 credit hours belong to just that minor, just 3 hours, right? All the other ones within ours, you can double dip. Okay. So at the end of the day, just like any minor, except most of our minors are going to be 15 hours. The honors one's 18. But yeah, we've had students who come in and finish the minor by the end of their sophomore year. And then we have students that take their last class the last semester, right? So, and anywhere in between. But I do my best to run a lot of reports. I love running reports. So I love data. So I try to help that out.
I want to, Andrew, if I can pop in, there was a question, what are merit-based scholarships based on? And those are awarded through financial aid. Those are based on incoming GPA and ACT. They do have pretty hard and fast deadlines with those, but they do a couple of times they'll review if a student increases, maybe takes the ACT again or increases their GPA, they'll do a review. Those reviews have been done and completed. And so if your student is receiving a merit scholarship, they've been notified of that. So if you have questions on the specific merit-based scholarships, you might want to connect with financial aid. And then, of course, if you're part of the honors program, then there's those additional opportunities for you as well. I want to switch gears off of scholarships here for a second and ask you guys, there's a question about the LLC option and how the LLC, the honors LLC, differs from another academic-based LLC or something. So can you talk specifically about the honors LLC?
Yeah, I think really the big difference is just that you're going to have a lot of different majors in different colleges. So, we're going to have students from I'm getting an anthropology degree to biomedical engineering to, all over the place. But the same concept for the other LLCs is the same with the honors one, in that there's more programming within a living learning community floor. Okay, so you're going to have more interaction with your college. Okay, so you're going to have more interaction with an advisor or a scholarship coordinator like myself. You're going to have more interaction with faculty, staff within that college, associate deans, assistant deans, and the dean. So there's a lot more of that going on than, say, a regular floor, right? So whether you're on the engineering LLC or the health professions LLC, the college applied studies, or what have you, they're all going to get that same level of interaction, opportunities for engagement. And then you also get points and stuff like that for going to a lot of different campus events together. So it is literally a community. And the nice thing with the honors is that we're like right there. And so students can then come down and into the honor student lounge and hang out there as well. But, there's no real, it's better if you're in this one versus this one. It's really up to the student, what your preference is. I would say that, a lot of the students then that hang out in the honors LLC, I'm still seeing them hang out the rest of the way because they still come back to the honors student lounge, even after they've moved maybe out of Shocker Hall, and they're still there hanging out and printing and drinking coffee. So, but yeah, does that help answer that? Okay.
And I'll also add, if you decide not to live in an LLC, there's another great way to get kind of involved and build that close connections with your other honor students is through an organization we called We. So this is our student-run organization that actually just relaunched this year. So it's really cool to see them kind of get it up and running. We have just a handful of students that kind of got other students involved. This year they've done art night, so they did a lot of painting canvases. Their biggest event was called Scoop Fest, so that's kind of during finals week. They just set up in a beautiful like kind of plaza area in our campus and had ice cream. So anyone that walked by can just join them. So it's open to honor students and just any other student on campus. So if you also don't stay on the LLC, but there's other multiple ways to get involved and create that community.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the most common, I would say, kind of transition issues or challenges that students face? So we talked a little bit about how honors isn't more work. It's just a different way of learning and teaching and engaging on campus, which it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit more, smaller, kind of one-on-one, more intimate, if you will, in terms of getting to know each other and interacting with that content. And so that's a different kind of way of looking at that. But then what are the things that your students are struggling with the most their first year?
Gosh, that's a good question. But I would say that it's not just honor students. I say it would be most students that and don't get me started on generational. So I've done research on generations and stuff like that and presented, but it's the pace. I think of most students, like you mentioned before, if I take an AP class, right, or IB class, or just a regular class, doesn't matter, right? Or I'm doing concurrent credit. You still in high school get 2 semesters to do that for the most part, unless you're on campus taking a class, right? So we know some students that will do that. Then take that class, right? So let's say you took AP US History, did APUSH, and you scored a 4 or 5. Great. Now you get credit. Okay. Well, that was over 2 semesters. So now let's say you took that same class at college. It's 6 times faster. And I know that seems like a very specific number, but that's what it is. It's about 6 times faster. And so you just get the 1 semester. The other big change is, and this isn't again specific to honor students, is that there's not going to be that's okay that you turned it in late. You can turn it in, That's not going to happen in college. It's not that we're trying to be mean. But there's a pace that the faculty need to go to get the information so that they're doing their job. And a lot of times it's meeting their accreditation for their college or their degree or something like that. So it's not a slight towards anybody. But I think that if anything, that we highlight the stuff that's going on in the Student Success Center, everything that's available over there, the Shocker Success Center, whether it's tutoring, whether it's counseling, whatever it is, that there are people, lots of wraparound services at our university. So it's really tough to fail. It happens, right? But what we do, and then in concert with that is that we work alongside with everybody within those services at Wichita State. I will say that you are going to do more, and I say all that to say this, is that you will do more, depending on the class, more reading, more writing. But I think that that's something that you're going to get across the board. This is going to be a lot more reflective. So rather than I'm going to get all this information and regurgitate it out, in honors, we want to know, what are your questions? And then how are you going to answer that question? Okay. So first and foremost, are you asking the right questions? Secondly, where are you going to find the right information to help do that kind of reflective writing and that kind of thing? We do a thing called Cities Text, and that's every honors college does that, where maybe we have a class where we have our first year class with community and cultures. So today we're not going to meet in class. We're going to meet at the Wichita Art Museum, and we're going to rent these vans, and we're going to take people over for that class. And you're going to pick a piece of art that's there, and you're going to write about it, right? While you're there, you're not going to look at the picture online. We're going to take you there, right? So it's a lot more involved. A lot more. When I say engaging, I don't mean that they're just making eye contact with you. You will have to speak in an honors situation, right? Because that's the thing, is we want you to start to ask questions and challenge ideas and thoughts and that kind of stuff, while respecting other people's opinions and views and perspectives. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I think so. We talk a lot about orientation or in orientation about when you think about the semester. So you're talking about the pace, right? You maybe had 2 semesters or the entire year in high school for your AP credit class, and now you're looking at 1 semester. And when you're thinking August, September, October, November, December, it's not 5 months, because you can take out August because of, really the first 2 weeks are chaos. And then you can take out December because that's finals. And so now you're literally looking at a 16-week semester. And if you're on a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday schedule, that is 32 class meeting times, and you're receiving your final grade. And we represent that for students on one side of one sheet of paper as we're working through coaching and time management. And it visually, when you show a student that, it's very different in terms of you've got to be in class. You've got to be prepared for class walking in. So if there's an assignment due, assume you're going to be talking about it or handing it in first thing and moving on, right? So it just keeps going. And so that's one of, and Andrew, you're exactly right. And Taylor, I don't know if you have anything to add to this, but it's really about keeping up. Because once you fall behind, it is really easy to slip down that slope and become overwhelmed really fast. And again, that's for any new student studying anything at any level, regardless if they're on, full scholarship or full Pell, doesn't matter. That pace is certainly important. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So Taylor, would you add anything to that?
I would like to add, kind of like from my perspective during my time as an honor student, something I really had to learn was to challenge myself strategically, right? So just because I was an honor student doesn't mean I need to dive full force in every direction. Before I really, early on in my academic career, before I learned to really use my resources and really rely on kind of conversations with academic advisors, I ended up finding myself in one of the honors courses. It was kind of the Dynamic Universe, I believe, which was really really cool. We started each course off with like the NASA picture of the day, and really talked a lot about cool cosmic reactions and whatnot. But a big part of that coursework was like formulas. And like I mentioned before, I was a sport management major. I have a lot of passion in working in events, talking to people, building a community. Numbers just never clicked in my head. So that like kind to me, I was like, okay, maybe honors college isn't the right fit for me. But I found quickly the honors leadership track and more honors courses that really play to my strengths. I was like, oh, this is for me. This is actually engaging. Makes me more excited to go to courses and really plug in. So just kind of that general message of like, you don't have to challenge yourself to everything. We really have been talking a lot lately about how the honors college can really be a kind of choose your own adventure. You can play to your strengths, but you really want to enhance your academic career, not just add challenge for challenge's sake.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I appreciate probably most about the Honors College is the sense of community our students get right away. And it's with the intentional connections, not just with the staff and the faculty and the Honors College, but they seem to be a pretty tight-knit group. And like you said, the Honors Lounge is really a hot spot on campus. You can walk by there. I remember being, ironically, in the dorms for another event, and we were there way late into the evening. And I was walking out, and there were like probably 6 or 7 students past midnight in there studying together or doing whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just amazed at the fact that like that's what they were choosing to do together instead of going and doing this other party thing that was happening out. And so it's nice because you're able to be put into an environment where you are able to kind of grasp and meet your tribe and stay connected all 4 years. And one of the things we find is that some of these students, you will be taking the same classes with them throughout your journey because those are specific honors courses, which isn't always the case for a lot of our majors, right? And so being able to have that sense of community, having that tribe of friends and peers that you can lean on when you don't understand or if you're struggling, definitely help, I think, for me, and seeing a significant difference of what the Honors College offers. In addition, you get some really amazing staff to work with. Kim had mentioned when Andrew, Kim, and I, we all kind of started off in the same area in admissions. Andrew was actually my mentor when I first started in admissions. Did a
I don't know
great
why
job.
you still own that, but that's cool.
Yes, I still own it because you were amazing. And so it's great that just we're here to continue to support our students in this journey. And it's great because, a lot of opportunities like both Andrew and Taylon had shared. And especially when you come to campus, feel free to walk through the Honors College, stop by, because it's one thing to talk about it and hear it, but to see it, and even seeing students here in the summertime, especially our students, I will say that our commuter students who are not living in the resident hall, who maybe live here in town or close by and are commuting. This is an amazing place for you to go and just be in that space and to connect and meet with other people in between classes. And so take advantage of it, because it's definitely probably one of the top favorites of mine, just to go and check out every now and then.
Yeah, we see students, you mentioned that live nearby, and that they kind of stake claim to their nonverbal territory, right? So it's like they have a spot in the Honors College and they've got all their stuff, and because we have microwaves, we've got the fridge there, and sometimes they'll keep their food in the fridge, and you get some coffee or some tea or something like that, right? And then we always have, if we have food left over, we just put it in where the students are, and then it's gone within, not very long. You'll have students hanging out late. They could be doing like what Taylon said. They could be feeding the organic Chem Piggy, right? So they drew a little mascot for the organic Chem 1, and that group will probably also be taking organic Chem 2 together next year, right? And so you've got these dry erase boards all over the place filled up with equations. I have no idea what they mean because I have 2 degrees in communication. I'm like, well, that looks cool. What is that, Sanskrit? But yeah, and they do that, or that we've got a lot of board games, and then we have lots of puzzles and that kind of stuff as well. So there's a question here. Do students drop out of the Honors College? What are the top reasons? They ran out of time. Mm-hmm. They ran out of time. They kind of got busy doing their major, or they double majored or something like that, or some students, they end up working full time, right? So, I mean, it really is a case by case basis. There's not just one reason, right? The student might drop. And, I get, sometimes they'll do it on their own, and that we'll get a major change thing. It'll get emailed to me by the registrar's office. And I always reach out to that student before I just let them just leave. Okay. And I just want to make sure, is this what you want to do? Are you sure you can't, keep going or something like that? And how can I help? So I always will kind of do an intervention, if you will, with them. But sometimes, they've got a semester left and they still have like 6 or 9 credit hours. And I'm just not gonna be able to do it. That's okay. Likewise, we'll have students who they'll drop out because of a variety of reasons, right? So it's they'll start it out and then they realize, sometimes they think that they have time to do it, but then they don't. So it really just kind of matters up to that student.
I want to switch gears back to advising for a second. So honors advising will complement the either one-stop first-year advisor or the college advisor when you get to that point. But I think there is a perk of being in the honors program for enrollment.
Yes.
Your second semester. So
you're leading us to things that we, yeah. In the Honors College, this might be the biggest perk beyond the free printing, right? Drum roll. No, is that honor students, no matter if they're freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, they get to enroll on the first day you can enroll in classes. So when November hits and it's time that week, usually the first day to enroll in classes is usually a Monday to enroll for spring classes. And so that Monday will be seniors, student athletes, and honor students can enroll on the first day. So yeah, you get first dibs, and that's 7 a.m. It's not 12:01 a.m. Yeah,
Right.
So it's 7 a.m. But yeah, so they get to do that. And so then I strongly encourage, especially if you have a student who's in engineering, is you have your advising appointment with engineering sometime in October, because you are required to meet with your engineering advisor no matter what classification you are. So sometimes that's a nice little wake up call, no matter how many times we remind them, but it always happens. But yeah, so you can enroll on the first day. And that's a huge thing, because let's say you're in a lockstep program. It's like, if I don't get in this class, it's only offered this semester. Oh, cool. I'm in the Honors College. I can do that the first day.
Right. And so when you're doubling up on those programs, so you have your degree curriculum and requirements, and then you have the honors piece on top of that. And so that's why it's important that honor students are prepared early and ready to go on that first day, because you just have a little bit more demand. Just like Andrew said, you kind of run out of time if you don't, if you're not really kind of intentionally planning that and giving some energy to your full degree program and what that looks like. So, but yeah, it's a great perk. And I know a lot of people take advantage of that. So
are there student athletes that have had success in the Honors College? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're constantly trying to get more, because it's actually, in a lot of ways, it can be really helpful for a student athlete to be in the Honors College, because of, different class sizes and that kind of stuff, and offerings, and being what kind of how we structure things. The other thing too is, like you said, I'm the advisor for honors your whole time, right? So I also help students if they're like, well, I want to do this for my degree. And I said, well, I'll tell them, okay, you want to ask this kind of question to this person, right? To know more about it, right? I'll send them out and say, okay, connect with this advisor, connect with this faculty, ask them about this before you make your decision. And so I try to get, if students aren't sure of something, a class, of when to take it here, I said, well, here are all the people you need to talk to before you make an informed decision. So again, I don't overstep my bounds, but I do kind of have as a resource, say, here's some people that I think you should consider having a conversation with. But yeah.
Great. All right, I'm keeping an eye on time. We have a few minutes left, so just a couple more minutes for folks to get their questions typed in the chat. If you have them, now is the time. Talon, I would ask, and we'll put you on the spot. What was the best thing about your experience as an honors student when you were in undergrad?
Good question. I always tell my students now that I so regret not taking full advantage of all the opportunities in honors college. But there's so much more I wish I could have done. But stuff that really sticks out to me is really that leadership curriculum that I was in with such smaller courses. So one of the courses was survey leadership. So we kind of got to imagine leadership in different aspects. So watch a movie, what kind of leadership aspects can you learn from that? So I still remember I did Karate Kid, I did She's the Man, I did Wu Shock's model of leadership. So I really just enjoyed being able to view curriculum and the real world around me, and especially working with the faculty. So Dr. Chelsea, who I get to now work with together as a coworker, was my professor, and she's just so passionate in the way she teaches and the way she leads, and very interactive. It's never like, okay, here's this assignment, just go off and do it. It's really much building that community and challenging one another, which I really enjoyed.
That's great. Alicia, do you have some things that you want to wind up? I don't see any other comments, but do you want to bring us home here in the last few minutes?
Absolutely. So as always, we have these parent-family table talks scheduled all throughout the summer. And we invite you to join us. We have another one coming up on Thursday with, I believe, student health. And so the list, if you go to wichita.edu/family, you can check the listing for all of our table talks on there. And one of the things that I will share is that we bring you the topics in time. And so a lot of times these are when parents are having very specific questions about either, honors and advising, because students are coming for orientation. In July, we'll have one specifically about your finances, because you'll actually be able to get in and see your student's fee bill. And so just in time, those will happen. But I do want to thank you tonight for joining us. And we hope that you gained a valuable insight into the unique opportunities, support systems, and academic enrichments that the Honors College offers our students. And so as your students begin this exciting chapter, know that they are a part of a community that challenges them to grow, lead, and thrive, both in and out of the classroom. I think more than any program, our Honors College does a phenomenal job of just that, challenge our students to grow and become the best. And so we're honored to be a partner with our families, and really look forward to seeing all the incredible things that your students will do when they join us in a few short weeks now. We're down to 6 weeks, 5 weeks when they come. And so it's exciting. If you have any questions at all, feel free to always send them to us in our chat. You can always contact Mr. Andrew Myers or Talon Fox directly. Their contact information is at wichita.edu/honors. We will also have this information on our website for you to share and get also later. I forgot one important thing, because I always get asked, who's the winner? Yes, we do have a winner tonight. And I'm sorry, since I am remote, I have to get this off my phone. Tonight's winner for our drawing is a Miss Erica Joy. So Erica, if you are online, yay! So Erica, congratulations. I will be emailing you soon to get your address, and we will be sending you a Shocktastic parent family gift in the mail, so you can represent Shocker Nation. But as always, thank you for joining us. There was another question.
Yep.
Go
ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, to Dina, July 1st, we're going to open up the Honors College application again July 1st, and we'll close it for fall, probably when you get it closer to August, but we'll have it open for 4 weeks or so.
Perfect.
And there's 9 weeks until classes start. So when you said 5, I'm like, that can't be right. So
and my minds
yeah.
were already there.
I know. We got a holiday in there. We got a lot of vacations. So yeah.
So, but thank you all for joining us tonight. And again, we love these. We have them throughout the rest of the summer. Feel free to join us. And if you're not able to join one of them, they will be on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and check there. But again, thank you for joining us, and have a great night.
Yep.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.